So guys, welcome to my YouTube channel once again. So today we are going to be talking about how famous movies look without CGI and special effects. So here is your spoiler warning because we're about to look at some famous movies behind the scenes and after production.
Let's take a look at how they made the biggest movie in the world.
Just kidding, it's just me in my green screen goofing out. So truly, this is what movies look like behind the scenes. Famous movies like The Avengers, Man of Steel, Pirates of the Caribbean, and so much more. So in the Pirates of the Caribbean, we can see Johnny Depp and Orlando. They were busy fighting off zombie sharks inside a sinking boat. And in behind the scene, we can see that there was no zombie shark fighting them. So the VFX team made it a massive blue screen around them on the set and hydraulic powered boats and plenty of imagination. While in Uncharted, the game remake where Tom Holland, our Spider-Man, scene of the high fall from the cargo plane without a parachute, risky, isn't it? You would think he'd be doing his own stunts, but there were hydraulic arms and wires, and also you don't even need to use real cars in movies anymore. This epic X-Men scene from Days of the Future Past, one of my favorite X-Men movie. This scene has Quicksilver running to save Wolverine. For it to be possible for them to create this iconic scene, filmmakers filmed Evan Peters running on a treadmill and they blended it with the rotating shots, which was slowed down. Tasty. And this result was this slow-mo masterpiece. This scene in John Wick 3. This can't be possible. You can't film this on a real street. So instead, filmmakers made use of fake bikes and green cats and a whole bunch of dudes on grey suits, which they all helped Keanu Reeves fight his attackers in slow motion. And they even had a guy blowing a wind on Keanu Reeves' hair to make it look like the bike was really moving. Speaking of Spider-Man, do you ever think of how they made your neighborhood Spider-Man look so good? It's only blue screen and a whole lot of fighting that looks weird behind the scenes. The scene from Supergirl looks a little different without the VFX adding it in post.
We're not gonna win this today.
The scene from Supergirl looks weird without the VFX team adding all the VFX in post. So okay, I'm just gonna say it. Superheroes without VFX and editing, without their powers, looks like fancy memes and jokes. In Jumanji, this desert scene were too dangerous to film. Plus, where will you see a bunch of angry ostriches and monkeys? The effects crew figured out some inventive blue screen sets and a high end of CGI to create this visual masterpiece.
And now head for the rhombus! Come on, hurry up! Rhombus! Come on, rhombus!
Now let's take a real look at one of the biggest movie ever.
Avengers Endgame was an absolute masterpiece in terms of visual effects and CGI. Not only that they have to render special abilities and costume onto hundreds of superheroes, and with all this apocalyptic wasteland and the backdrop, apart from trying to teach Jason Momoa how to breathe underwater, behind Aquaman, they use some inventive VFX to bring the DC superhero comic to life with motion captures and wires to take this above ground and to set straight Atlantis. The Superman Man of Steel makes every kid want to fly, but the secret behind this flying ability all comes down to wires, pulleys, and a team of people pulling the strings. The powers might be fake, but the Man of Steel's abs are definitely 100% real. And in Jurassic World 2015, we all know that the dinosaurs aren't real because dinosaurs are extinct. So the fearful raptors are just guys in leotards and raptor elements. We all know these memes that trend a few years ago. So Chris Pratt had to pretend that there was a vicious predator and standing in front of him. And in the world was the Brad Pitt threw a grenade inside the airplane to save himself from a lot of zombies. And to put this, Brad Pitt can definitely sacrifice a bunch of people, innocent people who just came to shoot a movie, a bunch of innocent people who had families. So how they shot this? The special effects team used a prop plane, a wind cannon, wires, and giant green screen sets to create the epic scene. In the live action reboot of the Disney classic Aladdin, it was all going to be a challenge to bring all the magical elements to life, from flying the magic carpet to running through the Cave of Wonders. Producers used blue screens and added the cave later on, and they also used specially designed motion capture suits for Will Smith's genie behind the scene of the live action.
Oh, that's hot.
MC.
Now guys, one of the least noticeable CGI tricks these days is face replacement. Standard example of this face replacement is from the 2013 action movie.
Example comes from the 2013 action flick Iron Man.
We all know this Metal Maverick is one of Marvel's greatest superheroes, and largely because of Downey's Jr. performance as Tony Stark. During filming, Downey injured his ankle in a stunt and needed to sit down for 6 weeks. For them to put production on hold, the filmmakers brought a body double and teamed up with VFX powerhouse Weta Digital to pull up this realistic, unbelievable scene. They created a 3D Downey Max using face capture footage of the actor, which they then placed on the double's face. You know that whole beach scene at the end of the movie's last minute, it was all the double with a 3D max fix. You know, I can't even tell. I don't think anyone could tell. Can you spot the difference within these two? But in that same year, Fast and Furious 7 was in production, but they faced a tragic setback. Director James Wan wanted to proceed, but the question arose: how would Walker's character Brian O'Connor continue when he can no longer appear in future films? At the time of his death, Walker has completed some majority of his scenes, so the filmmakers decided to rewrite the end of the story and give Walker's character a proper send-off. Thanks to Wera Digital, they recorded Walker from scratch from 3D and used his old videos and pictures as reference and added and blended two of them together. For the remaining scenes, that image of Paul Walker looking out the car window was created from reference of Past 5 and added with CGI lighting to make it look like it was a sunny day. Take that heartbreaking ending where Vin Diesel and Walker shared one last drive. Over 260 more shots, Paul's two brothers were filmed and another guide called John. The brothers were scanned to provide the closest reference to Paul Walker, which were later added with reference from old footage and CGI. And that's not all. Furious 7 was released in 2015, becoming a massive hit and making $1.5 billion in its box office. Wolverine, or as you know him, Logan. In this movie, Wolverine fought a younger version of himself, the X-23, his clone. So they joined forces with the USC Institute for Creative Technologies to achieve this. They captured Hugh Jackman's face and body and ultra-realistic detail by shining 346 lights in every part of his face for them to map the texture of his skin and hair. Towards the movie's third act, Logan comes face to his clone, the X-23. You might think Hugh Jackman played both roles with the filmmaker splitting both screen, but no, you are wrong. The X-23 was a digital recreation of Wolverine's face on the head of a double, thereby creating a stronger and meaner version of Wolverine. Amazing work. So with all these guys, this brought us to the end of the video. So if you found this video interesting and helpful, subscribe, give it a thumbs up and comment your favorite VFX scene, which CGI was more real. So comment down below. Thanks for watching. Subscribe guys.